it's always a challenge as you get toward the end, week 7, week 8, the monotony of practice. But I think having big SEC games really helps with their focus and getting prepared. And, I think positive momentum and, home field advantage and all that stuff is a part of it. But the preparation every day is the most important in creating practice habits. I think that's very important to building a program and setting standards that this is how you have to practice, because in the games you're not going to rise to the occasion. You're going to fall back to your training. So I just think practicing and just building that team is a huge part of it.
You and Wesley both kind of touched on this on Monday about their sweep actions and their jet. What kind of challenge does that present for a defense, especially when you've had your troubles, especially stopping the run?
Yeah, the hard part is it's hard to simulate in practice because of the speed of it, how fast it gets on you. And another thing is it takes eyes. It takes eyes away from the main focus, which is guys and those good running backs. And so you've got to constantly be aware and account for those people. So I just think it's a unique challenge and one that you have to prepare for.
Following up, how hard has it been to simulate what guys can do for your defense?
Very hard. The positive thing is I think in this league you face really, really good backs, and he's another one. He's very, very talented. And but I think playing several good running backs up to this point, hopefully they kind of get the feel for what it's like.
After you score 57 points, what do you emphasize offensively this week?
I just think taking another step, just trying to we talked about if this team that played against Vanderbilt, if they scrimmaged the team that played Cal, who would win that game? And it was all obvious to them. Well, the goal is for the team that plays Saturday night to be able to beat the team that played against Vanderbilt, and just to try to take one more step and have all these young guys get one game better. I think that's a huge part of it.
How has Gary looked kicking-wise?
Good. He kicked yesterday and looked good. Again, it's not a serious injury, but for a kicker, those little nagging injuries can be a problem. So I just think that we got to see what it's like in game time, and I think everybody has confidence now in Luke because he's been in a game and he's done a good job. So I think if Gary is full speed, we'll go with him. But if not, we have a guy that we know is a very, very good replacement.
Matt, are you a coach that believes in bulletin board material type of things?
I think motivation is what everybody looks for. I think I don't know if it's rah-rah or whatever the case may be, but I do think motivation plays a part, especially as you get toward the end of the season. Motivation is a big thing.
Do you have any this week?
You know what? I don't. This is a young team, and so I want to be careful with creating all of this stuff. I just want them to go get better. And I just want to keep getting better and taking the steps each week. I think that's important for our guys.
Speaking of the young team, do these kids, some of them even know who Ed Orgeron is, and do they even know he was here? You know what?
Probably fewer than you think.
Yeah.
Sometimes I laugh. I was getting on to the O-line about, hey, this guy ain't LT. They don't know who Lawrence Taylor is. They think him, LaDainian Thomas. So just that's the way these kids are. But and probably some of them do, and maybe some of them don't. But I do think it's important for them to know the history of this rivalry, more so than who were the coaches, but the history of all the great games between Ole Miss and LSU, and I think that's important for them to understand that.
Greg was talking about Arden Key yesterday, and that that Greg lost some weight in the offseason, that he's better suited to go against some of those speed rushers now. Do you see that as well compared to last year?
I do. Greg has greatly improved his foot quickness, and to me he plays much more consistent than he did at this time last year. So I do think that he has really, really improved and stepped up his consistency. He was always a good player, but as a true freshman, going to have to go against Arden Key and Myles Garrett and all these other people, it kind of opens your eyes. Say, I better get better, and I think he's done that.
You played in this rivalry. You know it better probably than anybody. What does it kind of mean to you, LSU week?
Well, this is for my dad, this was the game, and I kind of grew up with the Ole Miss versus LSU poster in my room, and I grew up hearing about all the stories and Billy Cannon's run, and then coming back and beating that team in the Sugar Bowl, and so you hear about all this, and then having a chance to play in that game and what it means to all the Ole Miss people. It's special.
Without launching into too many of the stories, when Ed was hired, you were here, and they kept you on that year. What was that first few